Well, hey guys, it's Spiffyguy and I'm out here for another adventure. As you can see behind me is the current river, and we are going to be spending the weekend down at Welch Spring campground. It's Friday and I'm about to walk over this direction and hit on the Welch Spring section of the Ozark Trail that we built. They've finished the entire loop, so we're going to go GPS the loop and see how it is, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do some campfire cooking. Tomorrow we've got some chainsaw work over on the current river section of the Ozark Trail over by Klebzig Mill, I think, so that'll be pretty cool. And we're just going to have a great time down here. We might do some fishing. I brought my fishing pole. I doubt I'll catch anything, but I brought it. Look at that water. It's beautiful. Let's start hiking. Alright guys, I'm still on the bridge. Like seriously, didn't even walk like a minute. And look at all of that chicken of the woods down there. I may have to get some. That's a whole ton of it. When you plan these things out, which I was part of the original flagging team, you're not really sure how it's going to look once it's done because you have to make adjustments. And you begin to learn landmarks, like that rock. I moved that rock there. That root I cut, and this section right here, whether it be good or bad, it's debatable, but this is the section that I built at one event. And that's kind of the cool thing about coming out to some of these events and building trail, is that that's your section of the trail. And you begin to learn these landmarks along the way. Like we'll come up and we'll see this rock that I always said was shaped like the Millennium Falcon. I don't know why. I just thought it was. You too can come and find it. Oh, there's the spider web right in the eye. See, I told you, here's Millennium Falcon. There's the left side of the ship. There's that little indentation and the little pod where the cockpit. And it comes along there. There you go. Got spiders all over me. But you too can find it, and here's the hint. You're going to come down, you're going to swoop through these little trees, and there it is. So come out, hike this trail, and find Millennium Rock. Someone pooped in the trail. Is that bear poop? I want to know. Look, there's a little dung beetle. Because it's fresh. Lots of flies. Hey bear. Hey bear. Gonna get eaten by a bear. Alright guys, so the whole loop itself is only about 2.71 miles, but they mark the actual mileage from the spring, so it's about 3 miles total if you park at the spring and walk over across the pedestrian bridge on Highway 19. And so the loop comes up, and then you can go off this direction towards the Ozark Trail, and they've got signage that shows this. So the orange blazes are going to be this Welch Spring loop. I forget the official name of it. And then we've got the OT blazes as well. So if you take this out to the Ozark Trail, this will go over, and I believe it's like 7 miles, but we need to hike it in order to get decent GPS tracks and mileage. But it goes all the way over to the southern part of the western side of the brushy loop. So if you were to park at Highmont and go down the west side of the loop, you'll come out at the bottom and connect up onto this little section, and then this will bring you over here. So the idea is that you'll be able to, in theory, you could park at Powder Mill, and then you could hike Current River all the way down to Laxton Hollow, take that over to Highmont, down the Brushy Creek Loop, hike all the way over here, then go down the loop and stop at Cars and get you a boat and float all the way back to Powder Mill. And that's something that I think that I want to do next year. It should be fun. So anyway, we're going to keep cruising along, and you know, it's beautiful out here. This trail is really great. These are coral mushrooms, I believe. I think they're edible. You never can tell. Well, I guess you could if you knew what you were looking for. But I am no mushroom expert. I'm just a fungi. Oh, dad jokes. I think there's a spider on my hat. Oh, man. Are these coral mushrooms? I don't know. Are those, oh man, was it lion's mane? I don't know. These are really cool though. They have nice little fronds on them. That is a super neat little mushroom. I don't know anything about it. If you know, post below. I'd be curious to find out. Alright guys, here's all these mushrooms here. I'm pretty darn sure that that is chicken of the woods. And it's all fairly fresh. So this whole log is just full of them. But I'm going to take a couple pictures. And I am not picking anything because I believe it is illegal to forage in national park land. I will confirm that with the rangers though, and if I can, then I'll come back here and grab a few. I got some sausages to cook up on the fire tonight, and maybe I'll toss these in the skillet with some oil. And, well, yeah, skillet and oil maybe. I don't know how well they would be grilled, but, because I don't have any seasoning. I might have some salt and pepper, I don't know. Anyway, pretty awesome. This trail is a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Here's a quick look at Welch Spring. The water is just so blue. And it's clear. You can see all the way to the bottom and where the sun's at. It's a very neat little place. There's no swimming, so please don't. I've seen people swimming at like Big Spring, things like that. But Missouri has a lot of springs, and down in this area you can kind of chain them all together if you wanted to see a bunch. Definitely worth the trip. I talked with the ranger, and he said that you can forage for mushrooms. So this is what I grabbed, and they all seem pretty fresh. So we're going to cook those up with sausage and the skillet, I guess. I guess we'll kind of cut them up into smaller bits, and we'll see how they go. Wash them off and all that. It's kind of exciting. All right, so the house is set up, and we're going to get a fire going. Just because I'm hungry. I didn't even eat lunch. So I had a big breakfast on the way out of town. And so now I'm going to try to get this up into some coals here, and then I'll cook up the sausage and the mushrooms and some olive oil. I wish I had some onions. I've been looking around for some wild onions, but I haven't found any yet. So not sure if they're common around this area as much as they are further up by where I'm at. Ooh, look at this beetle. He got destroyed by something. Probably I stepped on him. I'm sorry, beetle. I'm sorry. Alright, so I got all this chicken to the woods. And cut off kind of any part that might seem tough on the inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry up a couple of them in just some olive oil right there on the coals like this. Push the fire back. And then we'll see how they taste. I don't have any salt and pepper. Apparently I need to add that to my my food box that is just a Tupperware full of junk. So I'm still learning this car camping crap. Anyway, we'll see how it tastes and whether or not I die, which would be bad, in my opinion. That tastes pretty good, really. I mean, it really does taste like chicken. It's odd. So I got a whole bunch here. I'm going to eat probably about half of this. I wonder if it would keep. I may put it in a Ziploc, stick it in the cooler. Maybe have it with eggs in the morning. I might even try one of the eggs in the coals later tonight, once these coals die down. Anyway, we're going to stick some sausage in there with some mushrooms and do the thing. Alright guys, so there's the final product. A little chicken sausage with some chicken of the woods mushrooms. It's fantastic. And we're going to have, here we are, we're going to have, well, I'm going to burn my hand doing it, but here you go, look. We're having IKEA potato cakes along with it. we're gonna cook those up and fry them up with some oil, and it'll be fantastic. It's car camping. It's awesome. All right, we got a hole in the egg and we got some coals. This is probably a bad idea, but we're gonna try it anyway. How long are you supposed to cook eggs like this? It wasn't in the instruction manual, but it's starting to bubble out the top, so it's definitely starting to cook. All right, so I don't know how long this thing's been on there, but the first thing it did was it started bubbling out the top, and then I decided to poke it with a stick, because that's what you do with things. And I think you need to do that in order to keep the membrane from, you know, I guess, causing it all to boil up out the hole. Anyway, so that's kind of what's left. It looks done, but the edges seem really kind of hard, so maybe it's overdone. I'm not exactly sure how to time it. So, I don't know, what's your thoughts on eggs on a coal? Alright guys, so that's pretty much it about dinner. I think the IKEA potato things came out okay, but the problem is they're supposed to be frozen into the pan and they thawed out in the cooler. So, kind of got to rethink the potato thing. I may try it in the morning, I may not. I have, I brought my jet boil because I wanted to try it out, but I think what I might do is I might use this bundle of junk right here in my twig stove and try to cook up some eggs and those sausages, and maybe I'll throw in a couple of those pancake things and make just like kind of a goulash. Anyway, but I gotta go do dishes. But the bonus behind this place is they do have running water, which is nice. And in the winter, the main washroom with the showers is open. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, we're gonna wash up the skillet and the plate, and it'll be all good and clean for tomorrow. Morning guys, it is it's about 8 o'clock. I slept pretty decent, wasn't too cold, woke up a bunch of times, I drank too much water yesterday, that's for sure. I made some eggs this morning with sausage and some of those IKEA pancakes. It's sort of like a breakfast casserole. Came out pretty decent. I had some sticking problems with the pan. I was using my twig stove, and the idea would be just to stick it, you know, on top of the twig stove. But it was too hot, so I ended up moving the stick stove underneath the grate, and that seemed to help a little bit. But it is a beautiful morning. The sun is popping out. We're gonna go do some chainsaw work. I'm not exactly sure where. I believe it's on the Current River section of the Ozark Trail. And apparently there's quite a few trees down, so it should be a busy day. Let's get to it. Alright, I mentioned we're doing some chainsaws, so I have the Alice pack with the PVC frame. I have fixed the joints that I've broken here with wooden dowels on the interior, and that's working fine until I can find somebody to fabricate it out of aluminum. But I got my chaps, you know, gloves. The saw fits in here, and there's no lid on the pack anymore. That little modification didn't work out, but this works really, really good, and it feels great. So we're gonna go find some saws and hit the trail. And of course, there you go, we have a chocolate peanut butter pap tart, not from the hammock, but still I managed to find these. I'm excited. Alright guys, so this is where the maintenance is starting. We're at Klebzig Mill. That's the old mill, and this is the little shut-ins. It's really a beautiful area, and to be honest, the road coming down here sucks. If you don't have a four-wheel drive and decent clearance, just hike in, because it really sucks. And watch out for turtles, because we had to move one. But what we're doing is we're hiking from Klebzig Mill. We're headed north towards Owl's Bend, and there's a trailhead, I believe it's called the 2.13 mile trailhead, because it's 2.13 miles south from Owl's Bend, and we're gonna cut a bunch of trees. Boy, my goodness, look at this beauty. Come on out. Do some maintenance. Hike the trail. This is my favorite section, the current river. Get on it. Alright guys, so right over there is a little creek. I don't know if you can see it. White balance and all. There's a little creek, and we're just clearing out trees as we find them. We've cleared out probably about 5 or 6. And we're seeing a lot of pig usage. Now I don't know if you can see this. This is all digging and rooting of wild hogs. I'm not too familiar with the wild hogs and what to look for, but you can see all of this is dug up. All of that. And this is what they talk about when they talk about the wild pigs doing damage. That's all wild pig. So wild pigs are bad, and we don't like them. And I believe that they have requested that people stop hunting them individually on Department of Conservation land, because they'd rather do the en masse trapping of them, and then they euthanize them, or whatever it is that they do with the piggies. But it is a beautiful day. Oh, here's some more. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, there you go. Little footprints in there, digging around. So hogs are bad, but it's a beautiful day out to be in the woods, and you should go out and be in the woods too on this current river section, because it is nice. This is Indian Creek, so you'll pass this once, you'll cross over, and then you cross over a second time right here. Now there is an established kind of campsite in between here, so this is about 2 miles, 2.5 miles north of Klebzig Mill. So if you get to Klebzig and it's full, then you can continue on, which I've done. When I did the current river section, XC Crow and we camped at that campsite in the middle there. And this is a good place to get water, and it's just a beautiful place. I love these rocks. Like, this whole thing is just one giant rock face. Anyway, but you do a bit of road walking on this little MDC road here, and it is not that far. That is the current river down there, and this is a little lookout campsite. And if you go from this tree to that tree, you could lay in a hammock and have that view. It'd be pretty awesome. We're just clearing trees left and right, and probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 so far. Lots of trees. And good times. The Alice pack is actually working really good. I got some new ideas for some mods, so we're gonna keep on working on it and make it the best saw pack ever. But I think these things need to be worked out, so let's do that. Alright guys, so we made it back to camp. No worse for wear. I think we did about 5 miles or so. Some bird pooped on my tent. I'm very upset with that. And I also blew out my boot. So, a set of Keens. I guess I'm going to need to get new boots. So here you go. There's the question of the vid, right? We talked about this in the last one. So insert flippy thing. And what's your boot? What's your favorite boot? I'm going to need a boot that is going to be all leather. And I don't know, fairly stiff in the shank on it. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite boot is. We're gonna make tacos tonight, and we're gonna have cobbler from a Dutch oven, and it's gonna be fantastic. You guys should have been here. It's beautiful. There's the sun. It's beautiful out here, let me tell you. Well guys, it is about 8 o'clock in the morning. Had some breakfast. People are up so I can start talking. Try to be the friendly camp neighbor when I'm in the public campgrounds. Anyway, a bit of condensation on the inside of the fly, so I flipped it over, let it air out a little bit before I pack it up. I'm getting all my stuff together. Our goal today is to do some fishing. So here's some of the stuff I got. This is my regular fishing rod that I use out at Bush Wildlife. I got a new Shimano Sienna reel on there. See, you can tell that I'm a fisher person. I know this is a reel. This has got I believe it's 10 pound, it might be 6 pound, and then actually I think it's 10. And then this is the Penrod's penfishingrod.com backpacker model. This is a newer edition that I need to kind of get a feel for. And this is the little reel that comes with it, and I believe this has 6 pound on it. And then I've got my regular little kind of tackle box full of junk, which is probably not going to be any use at all, except for maybe some of these small little fuzzy ones, and then this spinner right here. And then these are the ones that Faro sent me. So we're going to try out some of these, and hopefully we don't lose them. And I think what we're going to do is head down to Welch Spring. So there was an old hospital there. If you had watched my 11 point section video, we finished the 11 point in 2 days. So the third day we went on a float, and we floated from Baptist down to Acres. And along the way we passed by the Welch Spring where it inputs into the current river. And apparently that's a good spot to catch fish. So you've got the cold water from the spring and the cold water from the river, and it mixes to make happy fish water, I guess. And of course, we have a regulations book just in case, so we can identify the fishes. And we're gonna carry all this in the Osprey. I did a little work on that, and we'll talk about that once we get out in the field to try to eliminate some of the creaking. And that's about it. We're just getting kind of packed up and gonna get ready to roll. It's still pretty foggy, but it's supposed to be nice today, and I'm sure it'll burn off, even though it sounds like it's raining, because it's all dripping off the trees. Alright, so this is a parking lot for Welch Spring. So if you take Highway 19 out of Round Spring, and you make a left onto Highway KK, and once you get to Acres Ferry, you make a right onto Highway K. Then you'll come up, you'll see a sign that says Welch Spring 1 mile. It's right on a corner, so be aware of that. And it's a left-hand turn onto a dirt road, and it comes down here. There is a split right up here, so just make a right. Anyway, it's a well-maintained road, so it's not like Devil's Well where you're kind of sketchy. But if you have a really low clearance car, just be safe. Anyway, so over here is the trail that heads down to Welch Spring. It's a half mile. So we're gonna take the pack and the fishing pole, and we're gonna head down there and see if we can't catch some trout. The fog burned off, which is actually against our favor, according to one of the rangers at Round Spring, who is a guy by the name of Mark Van Patten, and he literally wrote a book on fly fishing. It's called A to Z Fly Fishing, or Fly Fishing A to Z, and he teaches classes out at Montauk. So look him up. Apparently he did like 200 episodes of a fishing show for PBS, you know. He's just a retired fish biologist. So lots of good information from these rangers. So be sure to check in with them at whatever park you're at. You might find some interesting folks. But we're going to hopefully catch some trout. And maybe a bass. I don't know. We'll see. So this is Welch Spring. It is very cool. I forget what the amount of water that comes out of here every day is, but it's a lot. I mean, it's flowing, and it's all coming from right over there. Now that was the old hospital where they felt that people would get better if they were underground and stuff. I don't have too much history on that, but there's a sign over there. I'm not wading across though. But we can't fish in here. This is all illegal to fish, swim, wade, so don't go in there. This is an ecosystem that is very clean, and you need to keep your nasty butts out. But we can go fishing over in this area over here, and that's what we're going to check out. Alright guys, so I'm fishing off this little point right here. right where the spring comes in, there's this deeper pool right here. Now I was over there and I walked over here thinking I'd have a little bit better luck with this deeper water. I'm using this this little doohickey right here, and so far no bites. I can get the focus. I did when I walked over to here, I scared up some sort of weasel musculid, I think they're called, the species. I don't know what it was, but it was brown and ferret-like, and he went around over that direction, but I don't know what he was doing. But I'm going to switch out to something I think a little bit smaller, because I think this might just be too big. I got the larger test on the big pole, and I might switch over to the backpacker and just play with it. I'd rather, if I was going to break something or mess up a pole, I'd rather mess up the cheap one than the backpacker. But I guess, you know, this is what it's for. Ideally, you'd be down here with a fly line, but I am not that skilled yet. Some professionals have moved in down here. I don't know if they've caught anything. I just moved back over to the other peninsula. I haven't gotten a single bite. I really suck at fishing, but the backpacker reel has a lot better action on lighter weight lures than the Shimano Sienna. So I'm using that one pretty much primarily. Over here on the bank, and I don't know if you guys could see it, but there was some sort of weasel looking thing. I don't know if it's an ermine or what they are, but I thought it was a little dog at first. Had the tail sticking straight up. This is a good ecosystem for them, I'm sure. I scared up a blue heron as I was walking in as well, and out of this pool right here, which I will zoom out and hopefully the zoom noise doesn't suck so bad. Out of this pool right here, man, a big old fish. I was over on that point and a big old fish jumped out of there, and I'm like, really? So I put on a lighter weight, like a 1/8 ounce. It's got a lot of fluffy purple on it. So we're gonna try that and see if we can't kind of float it out there. I don't have any flies with me, so I don't know what the best route is. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. It's about 11:30 right now, so you know, we'll give it another hour or two and see what we can find. Well, it was a dog. He's right around that green shrub. It's one of the local hound dogs. He's got a GPS collar and an antenna. Don't come across, doggy. No, no. I don't know what the deal is with these dogs. They just kind of let them run loose down in this area. And he was up on that bank over there, and he swam across to the fisher guys, and they've bailed downstream. And so now I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, the current is nothing to play with. You can see. Come on, dog. Oh, I don't want to do a river rescue. You are not my pooch, and you need to have an owner. People are not friendly to these dogs down here. As soon as I turn the camera off, I catch one. Look at that guy. He's kind of freaking out. I'm gonna put him back in. Oh my goodness, I got a fish. I got a fish. That was my first fish on an artificial bait, a lure, without using like a worm and a hook or like a minnow or a leech. Oh my goodness. It took a while, but I got one. All right, we had a couple more bites. I had 2 more fish on the hook, and I was reeling them in, and then they got off. So I don't know if I need to work better on setting the hook. I've never caught a trout before, so I'm like super excited to just get one. But basically, the river's coming in there, and there's a channel, and I don't know if you can see that blue water. There's a channel on the outside, and there's a little pool right here. And so I'm casting kind of right around in here to get into that pool and then dragging it across. And that seems to be working well. So far I've managed to have 4 fish on the hook, and I pulled one in. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited. I got about another hour or so, and then I need to head back because I got a 3-hour drive back home, which is always sucky. I think this is watercress in there. I don't know. Crazy stuff. Man, this is a beautiful river. Alright guys, so that's about it for this adventure. I'm not having much luck after catching that one fish, but I got a fish, and that's the first step. So I appreciate you guys watching, and if you got any questions, comments, that sort of thing, leave them down below. Do the thumbs up, the like, subscribe, the standard YouTube spiel here at the end. I want to encourage you guys to come down to this area and check it out, because it is beautiful. The Current River is a fantastic area, and there's lots to do on it, so come on down. October 13th, 2018 is the Ozark Trail Mega. We're going to be out of Welch Spring again, and we're going to be building trail. Definitely come down. It's going to be fun. We'll feed you. You can build some trail. It'll be a great time. And that's really about it. I'm excited to get out and, do some fishing. I'm not the best, but I'm learning. So anyway, until the next time, just remember that life is an adventure, and go out and have one.